ソロモンが、宮と王の宮殿及びソロモンが建てようと望んだすべてのものを建て終わったとき、主はかつてギベオンでソロモンに現れたように再び現れて彼に言った。あなたが私の前に願った祈りと願いとを聞いた。私はあなたの建てたこの宮を性別して私の名を永久にそこに置く。私の目と私の心は常にそこにある。あなたがもし、あなたの父ダビデが歩んだように、全く心を持って、正しく私の前に歩み、すべて私が命じたように行って、私の定めと掟とを守るならば、私はあなたの父ダビデに約束して、イスラエルの王院に登る人があなたにかけようことはないであろうと言ったように、あなたのイスラエルに王たる位が長く確保するであろう。And it came to pass when Solomon had finished the building of the house of God, the Lord and the king's house and all Solomon's desire, which he was pleased to do, that the Lord appeared to Solomon the second time as he had appeared unto him at Gibeon. And the Lord said unto him, I have heard thy prayer and thy supplication, that thou hast made before me. I have hallowed this house, which thou hast built, to put my name there forever, and mine eyes and my heart shall be there perpetually. And if thou wilt walk before me as David thy father walked, in integrity of heart and in uprightness, to do according to all that I had commanded thee, and will keep my statutes and my judgments, then I will establish the throne of thy kingdom upon Israel forever, as I promised David thy father, saying, There shall not fail thee a man upon the throne of Israel. しかし、あなたがまたは、あなた方の子孫が背いて私に従わず、私があなた方の前に置いた戒めと定めとを守らず、他の神々に行ってそれに仕え背を拝むならば、私はイスラエルを私が与えた地の表から立つであろう。また、私の名のために性別した宮を私の前から投げ出すであろう。そしてイスラエルは諸々の民のうちにことわざとなり笑い草となるであろう。But if ye shall at all turn from following me, or ye and your children, and will not keep my commandments and my statutes, which I have set before you, but go and serve other gods and worship them, then I will cut off Israel out of the land which I have given them, and this house which I have hallowed for my name, will I cast out of my sight. And all Israel shall be a proverb and a byword among all people. かつ、この宮は荒塚となり、その傍らを過ぎる者は皆驚き、嘘吹いて何故主はこの地とこの宮とにこのようにされたのかというであろう。And at this house which is high, everyone that passes by it shall be astonished and shall hiss, and they shall say, Why hath the Lord done thus unto this land and to this house? その時人々は答えて、彼らは自分の戦争をエジプトの地から導き出した彼らの神、主を捨てて、他の神々に付き従い、それを拝み、聖に仕えたために、主はこのすべての災いを彼らの上に下したのであると言うであろう。And they shall answer, because they forsook the Lord their God, who brought forth their fathers out of the land of Egypt, and have taken hold upon other gods, and worshipped them, and served them. Therefore hath the Lord brought upon them all this calamity, or evil. ソロモンは、20年を経て二つの家、すなわちシノ宮と王の宮殿と建て終わったとき、角の王ヒラムがソロモンの望みに任せて紅白と糸杉と金と供給したので、ソロモン王はガリレアの地の町20をヒラムに与えた。And it came to pass at the end of 20 years, when Solomon had built the two houses, the house of the Lord, and the king's house. Now Hiram the king of Tyre had furnished Solomon with cedar trees and fir trees, and with gold according to all his desire. Then King Solomon gave Hiram 20 cities in the land of Galilee. しかし、ヒナムが角から来て、ソロモンが彼に与えた町々を見たとき、セーラは彼の気に入らなかったので、彼は兄弟を あなたがくださったこれらの町々は一体何ですかと言った。せいでそこは今日までガフヌの地と呼ばれている。And Hiram came out from Tyre to see the cities which Solomon had given him, and they pleased him not. And he said, What cities are these which thou hast given me, my brother? And he called them the land of Kabul unto this day. ヒラムはかつて銀120タラントを王に送った。And Hiram sent to the king 6 talents of gold, 120 talents of gold. ソロモン王が強制的に労働者を徴募したのはこうである。すなわち王の宮と自分の宮殿とミロとエルサレムの城壁とバゾルとメギロとゲゼルを建てるためであった。And this is the reason of the Levite which the king Solomon raised, for to build the house of the Lord, and his own house, and Millo, and the wall of Jerusalem, and Hazor, and Medigo, and Gezer. エジプトの王パロがはかつて登ってきてゲゼルを取り、火でこれを焼き、その町に住んでいたカナン人を殺し、それをソロモンの妻である自分の娘に与えて婚姻の贈り物としたので、ソロモンはそのゲゼルを建て直した。また、しもべ、ベテホロンと、バーラテとユダの国にある、タマル、およびソロモンが持っていた倉庫の町々、戦車、町々、キエの町々並び、ソロモンがエルサレム、レバノンおよびそのすべての領地において建てようと望んだものをことごとく建てるためであった。And Solomon built Gezer, Beth-horon, the nether, and Baalath, and Tadmor in the wilderness in the land, and all the cities of the store that Solomon had, and the cities for his chariots, and the cities for his horsemen, and that which Solomon desired to build in Jerusalem and in Lebanon, and in all the land of his dominion. すべてイスラエルの子孫でない、アモリ人、ペリシテ人、ヘテ人、ヒビ人、エズス人の残ったもの、その地にあって彼らの後に残った子孫、すなわちイスラエルの人々の滅ぼし尽くすことのできなかったものを、ソロモンは強制的に奴隷に徴募を行い、今日に至っている。And all the people that were left of the Amorites, the Hittites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, the Jebusites, which were not of the children of Israel, their children that were left after them in the land, whom the children of Israel also were not able to utterly destroy. Upon those did Solomon Levi a tribute of bond service unto this day. しかし、イスラエルの人々、ソロモンは一人のも奴隷としなかった。彼らは軍人、また彼の役人、司令官、指揮官、戦車隊長、騎兵長であったからである。But of the children of Israel did Solomon make no bondmen, but they were men of war, and his servants, and his princes, and his captains, and the rulers of his chariots, and his horsemen. ソロモンの工事を監督する和枠の管理は550人であって、工事に働く民を治めた。These were the chief of the officers that were over Solomon's work, 550, which bear rule over the people that wrought in the work. パロの娘はダビデの町から登って、ソロモンが彼女のために建てた家に住んだ。その時ソロモンはミロを建てた。But Pharaoh's daughter came up out of the city of David onto her house, which Solomon had built for her. Then did he build Millo. ソロモンは主のために築いた祭壇の上に、年に3度、燔祭と主恩祭を捧げ、また主の前にこう焚いた。こうしてソロモンは宮を完成した。3 times in a year did Solomon offer burnt offerings and peace offerings upon the altar which he built unto the Lord. And he burnt incense upon the altar that was before the Lord. So he finished the house. ソロモン王はエドムの地、紅海の岸のエフテに近いエジオンゲベルで数隻の船を作った。ヒラムは海のことを知っている船員であるそのしもべをソロモンのしもべと共にその船で使わした。彼らはオフルへ行って、それから銀420タラントを取ってソロモン王のところに持ってきた。And King Solomon made a navy ships in Ezion-Geber, which is beside Elath, on the shore of the Red Sea in the land of Edom. And Hiram sent in the navy his servants, shipmen that had knowledge of the sea, with servants of Solomon. And they came to Ophir and fetched from thence gold 420 talents, and brought it to King Solomon. Sheba シバの、女王は、シノナに関わるソロモンの名声を聞いたので、難問を持ってソロモンを試みようと訪ねてきた。And when the Queen of Sheba heard of the fame of Solomon concerning the name of the Lord, she came to prove him with hard questions. 彼女は多くの従者を連れ、香料とたくさんの金と宝石とラクダに追わせてエルサレムに来た。彼女はソロモンのもとに来て、その心にあることをことごとく彼に告げたが、ソロモンはそのすべての問いに答えた。王が知らないで彼女に説明のできないことは一つもなかった。And she came to Jerusalem with a very great train with camels that bear spices and very much gold and precious stones. And when she was come to Solomon, she communed with him of all that was in her heart. And Solomon told her all her questions, answered all her questions. There was not anything hid from the king, which he told her not. シバの女王は、ソロモンの諸々の知恵と、ソロモンが垂れた宮殿、その食卓の食物と、列座の家来たちと、その知人たちの思考ぶり、彼らの服装と、彼らの宮司たち及び、彼がシノ宮で捧げる犯罪を見て、全く気を奪われてしまった。And when the queen of Sheba had seen all Solomon's wisdom, and the house that he had built, and the meat of his table, and the sitting of his servants, and the attendance of his ministers, and their apparel, and his cupbearers, and his ascent by which he went up unto the house of the Lord, there was no more spirit in her. 彼女は王に言った。私が国であなたのこととあなたの知恵について聞いたことは真実でありました。しかし私が来て目に見るまではその言葉を信じませんでしたが、今見るとその半分も私は知らされていなかったのです。あなたの知恵と繁栄は私が聞いた噂に勝っています。And she said unto the king, It was a true report that I heard in mine own land of thy acts and of thy wisdom. Howbeit I believed not the words until I came, and mine own eyes seen it. Behold, the half was not told to me. Thy wisdom and prosperity exceedeth the fame which I heard. あなたの奥方たちは幸いです。常にあなたを前に立って、あなたの知恵を聞く家来たちは幸いです。Happy are thy men.Happy are these thy servants, which stand continually before thee, and that hear thy wisdom. あなたは神、主は本べきかな。主はあなたを喜び、あなたをエスダイの位に登らせました。主は永久にエスダイを愛されるゆえ、あなたを王として行動と正義と行わせられるのです。Blessed be the Lord thy God, which delighted in thee to set thee on the throne of Israel, because the Lord loved Israel forever. Therefore made he thee king to do judgment and justice. そして彼女は銀120タラントを呼び、多くの香料と宝石と王に送った。シバの女王がソロモン王に送ったような多くの香料は再び来なかった。And she gave the king 120 talents of gold, and of spices, and very great stone, and precious stones. There came no more such abundance of spices as these which the queen of Sheba gave to King Solomon. オフルから金を乗せてきたヒラムの船は、またオフルからたくさんの微弱弾の木の宝石等を運んできたので、王は微弱弾の木を持って、シノミアのと王の球団のために、壁柱を作り、また歌う人々のために琴とタレゴトとを作った。このような微弱弾の木はかつて来たこともなく、まだ今日まで見たこともなかった。And the navy of Hiram that brought gold from Ophir brought in from Ophir great plenty of almond trees and precious stones. And the king made of the almond trees pillars for the house of the Lord, and for the king's houses harps and also psalteries for singers. There came no such almond trees, nor were seen unto this day. ソロモン王はその豊かなのに従って、シバの女王に贈り物をした他に、彼女の望みに任せて、すべてその求めるものを送った。そして彼女はその家来たちと共に自分の国へ帰っていった。And King Solomon gave unto the queen of Sheba all her desire, whatsoever she asked beside that which Solomon gave her of his royal bounty. So she turned and went to her own country, she and her servants. さて、一年の間にソロモンのところに入ってきた銀の目方は666タラントであった。Now the weight of the gold that came to Solomon in 1 year was 636 talents of gold. そこに貿易商及び商人の取引、並びアラビアの諸王と国の大官たちも入ってきた。Beside that, he had of the merchantmen, and of the traffic of the spice merchants, and of all the kings of Arabia, and of the governors of the country. ソロモンは延べ銀の大盾200を作った。その盾にはおのおの600シゲルの金を用いた。King Solomon made 200 talents of beaten gold, 600 shekels of gold, and went to one target. また、延べ金の小盾300を作った。その小盾には、おのおの3minaの金を用いた。王はこれらをレバノンの森の家に置いた。And he made 300 shields of beaten gold. 3 pounds of gold went to one shield, and the king put them in the house of the forest of Lebanon. 王はまた、大きな象牙の玉座を作り、純金を持ってこれを覆った。Moreover, the king made a great throne of ivory and overlaid it with the best gold. その玉座に6つの段があり、玉座の後ろに格子の頭があり、座席の両側に肘掛けがあって、肘掛けの脇に2つの尻が立っていた。The throne has 6 steps, and the top of the throne was round behind, and there were stays on either side on the place of the seat, and 2 lions stood beside the stays. また6つの段のおのおのの両側に12の獅が立っていた。このようなものはどこの国でも作られたことはなかった。12 lions stood there on the one side, and on the others upon the 6 steps. There was not like made in any kingdom. ソロモン王が飲むときに用いた器は皆銀であった。またレバノンの森の家の器も皆純金であって、銀のものはなかった。銀はソロモンの世には顧みられなかった。And all King Solomon's drinking vessels were of gold, and all the vessels of the house of the forest of Lebanon were of pure gold. None were of silver. It was nothing accounted of it in the days of Solomon. これは王が海にタルシの船体の所有して、ヒラムの船体と一緒に航海させ、タルシの船体に3年に一度銀、金、象牙、猿、クジャクを乗せて来させたからである。For the king had at sea a navy of Tarshish with the navy of Hiram. Once in 3 years came in the navy of Tarshish, bringing gold, silver, ivory, and apes and peacocks. このようにソロモン王は富も知恵も地のすべての王に勝っていたので、全地の人々神がソロモンの心に授けられた知恵を聞こうとして、ソロモンに謁見を求めた。So King Solomon exceeded all the kings of the earth for riches and for wisdom. And all the earth sought to Solomon to hear his wisdom, which God had put in his heart. 人々はおのおの贈り物を携えてきた。すなわち銀の器、金の器、衣服、没薬、香料、馬、ラバなど年々定まっていた。And they brought every man his present, vessels of silver and vessels of gold and garments and armor and spices and horses and mules at a rate year by year. ソロモンは戦車と騎兵と集めたが、戦車1400両、騎兵12000であった。ソロモンはそれを戦車の町とエルサレムの王のもとに置いた。Solomon gathered together chariots and horsemen, and he had 1,400 chariots and 12,000 horsemen whom he bestowed in the cities where chariots, and with the king at Jerusalem. 王はエルサレムで金の石のように用い、琥珀を平地にあるイチジクの桑のように多く用いた。And the king made silver to be in Jerusalem as stones, and cedars made he to be as the sycamore trees that are in the vale for abundance. ソロモンが馬を輸入したのはエジプトとクエからであった。すなわち、王の貿易商はクエから代価を払って受け取ってきた。エジプトから輸入される戦車1両は銀600シケル、馬150シケルであった。このようにして、これらのものが王の貿易商によって、ヘテビトのすべての王たちを呼び、スリアの王たちに輸出された。And Solomon had horses brought out of Egypt, and linen yarn, and the king's merchants received the linen yarn at a price. And the chariot came up and went out of Egypt for 600 shekels of silver, and a horse for 150. And for all the kings of the Hittites and for the kings of Syria did they bring them out by their names.